Hola and hello to another episode of Nerdosphere Newsweek. I am your host, Corbin, and alongside me is my brother, as always, Clayton.
Hello.
In case this is your first time tuning in, the purpose of this show is throughout the week, various news breaks into the interwebs regarding movies, television, video games, and comics. We share that on our various platforms of Facebook and Twitter, and I set aside the top stories. I try to do 5, and sometimes a week is just too juicy to bring to this table to discuss here and bring to your attention. So, without further ado, let's dive right in at number uno. Robert Zemeckis apparently is rumored to be in negotiations for the Flash's director chair.
Ooh.
Could this be the hope that we need for a cohesive Flash film? He does have kind of a quirkiness to his films. He has a levity, if you will. I don't know.
I'm excited about it.
For all the drama that I've heard from this film. I'm excited. I would be down for Robert Zemeckis doing a Flash film.
Me too. I'm ready. The first positive thing I've heard about or thought about the Flash film. So,
yeah.
It's a good starting point.
And the two films I always think about when I think about the DC EU currently is The Flash and Aquaman. Aquaman so far has had no drama because James Wan just has it under control. I'm not super on board with Jason Momoa. I'm waiting to be impressed by Justice League. But something else that I find very interesting is they said that the rumored villain in the film amongst Black Manta and Ocean Master that is the Trench, which is what Jeff Johns used as a brand new villain to breathe new life into Aquaman. So if they really go down that route,
it'd be real good.
I'm pretty excited for this film.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyways, number 2. One thing I did share on our Facebook, but maybe not on our Twitter, was the new Transformer film, The Last Night. Has been doing its marketing material, and it released a brand new poster. The poster being Bumblebee, World War II, standing in front of a Nazi building on fire.
Yeah.
And I jokingly shared it and said, well, I guess they came to Earth, not knowing how to speak the language, fought with the humans, left, came back, and then used the newfound internet to learn our language, because...
I'm you know what? This movie really interests me because I want to see how they tie it all in with what already exists. Because as we've said before and insinuated before, it's making no sense right now.
Making no sense. A name that you've heard dropped in this podcast, this show quite often, is our mutual friend Nick, and he very elegantly put, it's like the X-Men franchise. At this point, each film is a sequel / reboot / retcon of the previous films simultaneously. And that is 100% accurate. They just don't have a care in the world for what came before.
Nope.
And like we've said on our Transformer podcast, we are going to sit down and take actual notes of the Transformer history based on the films, because each film plays upon some popular conspiracy theory to give the Transformers meaning in the real world. And we're going to be tracking just how many times they contradict each other as we move forward to The Last Night, so that we are ready to go with our review of The Last Night and just tear the Transformer franchise a new one.
Yep.
Number 3. James Gunn says Guardians Volume 3 will conclude the story of this iteration of the Guardians and also propel the Marvel Cosmic Universe into an expected expansive and prioritized manner. So after this current phase that we're in of the MCU, the way they categorize films is going to change based on what Feige has said, and they're also going to be putting some emphasis on the cosmic side. So they want to expand the cosmic universe of the MCU.
Yeah, we know they're getting away from the phase, and we know that Volume 3 most likely will be the first movie after the 2 Avengers films.
Right.
So it'll be like what Iron Man was basically for Phase 1. So it'll be interesting to see where they go, what they do.
Something else that's interesting to note is as they get away from the phase, Kevin Feige was interviewed this week about how the 10th anniversary of the MCU is coming up pretty quick. We are actually almost a decade in. And he said one of the tricky things that they're going to think about moving forward after this phase is how things fit in a timeline. Obviously, we'll get into more details with Guardians with our Guardian review, but it does kind of break the mold a little bit as far as the timeline is concerned. And he kind of insinuates that maybe the movies aren't going to necessarily be taking place in the assumed,
Yeah, maybe.
where like a year passes between a film and a year's past IRL. So, I don't know. Interesting. Number 4. Matthew Vaughn has broken his breakable vow of not doing sequels. As he says, his issue with sequels is that people often just do the same thing over and over again. He thinks if you're going to do a proper sequel, you've got to break it all down and do something totally fresh with the characters. But he just had never figured out a way to do that to his satisfaction. But he is, like I said, he's broken that vow of not doing sequels for Kingsman: The Golden Circle. And while he was writing the script for Kingsman: The Golden Circle, we now know that he was actually thinking about where the franchise was going to go for the third film.
Sweet.
So Matthew Vaughn has plotted a course for another sequel. I can almost guarantee you at this point he'll probably direct it because he seems to really be loving the franchise. I can't imagine
baby.
if he's planning where a third one's going to go. I can't imagine him abandoning it because he wants to keep the tone and everything. So we've joked before about how the Kingsman at this point should just, I guess, be the new James Bond, and Matthew Vaughn should never leave it. And we're getting our wish so far. We're at least getting 3 movies, which is more than we could have say for when the first one came out. And he was like, I might not do the sequel.
Yep. As we were watching the preview for Golden Circle before Guardians, I leaned over to you and said, this should just be the new Bond. Every 3 or 4 years, we should just get another Kingsman movie. And we should just keep it going, because dang.
Oh, yeah. Number 5, the Dark Tower trailer has released.
It
a
has.
Movie that we were kind of on the fence about. You know more about it than I do in general.
Yep.
But moving, as we've been keeping track of the news, because this is a movie that has been in production hell for years. We got our first taste. I'm still on the fence. I don't know about you.
I think it looks good. I can tell that, because we know that it's not exactly like the books, if really even very close to the books.
Well, we know that it's a sequel to the books.
No.
So I thought I remember reading that it's
No.
No.
No. It's not a sequel to the books.
I think it is supposed to be.
But it's not.
I'm pretty sure.
Because he's chasing the man in black, and the little kid from the first book is in this movie, it's that story, it's just not quite the same.
Then I guess I'm just pulling information from an early interview.
Yeah, maybe.
They had talked about it being canon.
Kind of like, how like Under the Dome, a lot of people really liked that book, but then when they turned it into a show, it was just like, whoa, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I hope that's not what this is going to be, but that's the example I'm using right now. So,
Okay.
It's, they've already been vocal about not necessarily following the book, so.
And I guess
We know it. We still have Roland. We know we still have the Man in Black. We know it's still, they're trying to save or destroy the Dark Tower. And
yeah.
besides that, they may be totally different. We'll
Something
see.
that I didn't know going into this was apparently all the Stephen King books take place in the same universe.
They do.
And IGN did a good breakdown of the trailer, seeing all the Easter eggs and stuff. But I guess I had never really known that.
There's a lot of Easter eggs in his Dark Tower series. So all the other work that was at least out at that time. So
Gotcha. And the last thing that we're going to bring up on the table for today is the surprise number 6. Usually creeps up.
surprise number 6.
King Arthur is set to debut in North America with $25 million. The movie cost $175 million before marketing and was originally going to be one of 6 films from Warner Brothers. Before that, they wanted it to be a 12-film saga, but I guess they backed it down to 6.
See how the first 6 do, and then talk about it.
And then talk about another 6. So again, important to note that this is just North America, but based on North America,
it's just one day, right?
Yeah,
as
it's
of
a weekend.
time of recording, it's only been out for not even 24 hours.
Right. But it's tracking to be a colossal flop. But that's only one market. Some of the side questions I wrote down was, one, can the overseas market possibly save this, a la Pacific Rim? Two, does America not care about King Arthur? Is there just maybe not a place for King Arthur in America?
I think that may be the case. Because
and maybe when it goes to Europe, when it opens there, it might do really, really well.
It might. We'll have to wait and see, but I think that could be a good point.
And then I also said, do Americans just hate Guy Ritchie? Like, I just don't, like, I do not understand how this movie is not capturing the attention of people. Like, one, I think King Arthur is a great character. I always want to see more because we never get really great stuff from him.
Yeah, I've been in love with King Arthur and those legends since I was a kid, and I have often thought, why can't we get just a legit, just good King Arthur movie? Because we haven't gotten one. Not at all. So.
No. The Clive Owen came close, but even that was a realistic
But that was like,
take.
a realistic take.
Like
so
it
was like
the man the legend is based on. Sort
exactly.
Of thing.
And it was good for the time, but it doesn't hold the test of time. Go back and watch it now, and
no, it doesn't. I mean, you're right. So
plus, we were younger when it was out, and we didn't have quite the sophisticated opinion that we do now back then.
So I thought, as I was writing that point down, I thought maybe that's something to talk about. Maybe we'll do Explosive in Europe because they have a British director. It's a British cast. It's a British character, and maybe
a lot of Brit cameos.
Even David Beckham has a cameo.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. To me, it is a head scratcher. I cannot believe IGN gave it a 4.5. I don't believe that it's a 4.5. They gave Game of Shadows, the second Sherlock Holmes movie, a 7 out of 10.
I don't believe it's a 4.5. There's no way it can be a 4.5.
And you know what's funny? I usually wait till I see the movie to actually read the full review because I don't want anything spoiled for me. But as I'm reading the review, the guy's kind of talking about all the things that he kind of liked. And then whenever he goes into, like, when he says, like, what didn't work, I'm always like, your review of this movie, the good far outweighs the bad, and you gave it a 4.5. Like, sometimes I don't understand how they rate movies.
Because it's so opinionated, and I mean, we listen to Colin and Greg all the time. Well, they're not together anymore, but we still listen about them. But they used to always talk about how the number rating system is just ridiculous. So and it is.
I don't know. But anyways, that has been Nerdosphere Newsweek. Do you want to pull us out?
Yes. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please comment down below what your favorite news of the week was. What do you think about Dark Tower? What do you think about King Arthur? Do you even want to go see it? Because I do.
And why not?
So be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. All the links are in the description. We are posting the top stories out of the Nerdosphere throughout the week. And stay tuned next week for another Top 5.
We'll see you
next time.